So, Ben Affleck, new midlife crisis look.
Is he definitely getting divorced with Jennifer Lopez?
Listen, I
That makes me
well, I guess
sad.
he noticeably went without his wedding ring when he wore this look, but I don't want it to be true.
No.
I for some reason, I didn't realize till things were on the rocks how much this couple means to me.
I know.
I'm, like, in a place, like, I've literally, like I have my own problems in my own life that I am, I'm in denial about this as if it is my own life. That's where
Mhm.
I'm at with this. Like, where I'm just like, "It can't be, you guys. Stop saying this. Why do you keep saying this insane thing? Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are headed towards divorce. Why would you lie about that?"
Yeah.
But I guess it appears it is the case. Now he looks absolutely this is Phoenix back tattoos level, I have to say, where so he's wearing, like, a Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt that's very faded and worn. He's wearing, like, a biker jacket that has, like, padding installed in it in case you, like I don't know, I mean, it looks legit, but I don't know if he was biking anywhere. Then he has, like, a little bit of I wouldn't call it a full-blown faux hawk, but, like, the sides of his head are shaved, and there's just this strip on top that's and nowhere in this piece does it identify that this might be for a film.
No.
He's going to Soho House, I think.
This is just him. Oh, I can see him on a bike a little further
Yeah,
down.
I
Yeah.
think that's Soho House.
Huh. It's a hell of a choice. He makes choices that don't make any sense to me. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's an addict.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I think some of this stuff can be viewed as, like this sounds insensitive, but like an addict temper tantrum a little bit, where it's like he's some of these things seem like a result of having to make hard decisions that are unpleasant.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, I can't drink, but, like, I'm still upset and I'm not happy, so I'm gonna go get this fucking insane back tattoo that's, like and probably very prohibitive in my
Yeah.
life and career."
Yeah.
But then yeah, also, this is mage for me. Apparently, Matt and Ben, my boys, are wrapped up in this potential Gawker takedown movie,
Wow.
where if you guys haven't read, Conspiracy, I think it's by Ryan Holiday. It's a book about how Peter Thiel basically funded a lawsuit between Hulk Hogan and Gawker Media, over them running a sex tape of the Hulk, and his former friend, Bubba the Love Sponge's ex-wife, I think, wife at the time. And Peter Thiel had beef with Gawker. He was pulling the strings from behind the scenes
Mm.
because they outed him years ago. And he was just been harboring this, which is fair, by the way.
Yeah, it's fine to be biding your time for revenge. I mean, I loathe Peter Thiel, but everyone's entitled to a little revenge every once in a while.
Yeah. But I I don't I just I feel I feel big feelings about that lawsuit still and how I this is my secret theory, and maybe I've said this before, but, like, I've always felt that Teal probably had about 5 really, really big things that he could maybe try and trap people in. And I think AJ, the editor, was like, he's been very transparent about having a serious drinking problem at the time that he published this piece. Gawker is a page views driven website. I think this thing hit his inbox and he sort of lacked the discretion and he was trained on the model of put up things that are going to get a lot of page views.
Mhm.
And I think that it was just one of those things where this was the Hulk Hogan video was what Teal decided to dropped the hammer on. I think that it goes that as far back as that. That, like, I think that he was the one who had that anonymous video sent or that video sent to him anonymously. Like, he sent it to AJ
Oh.
knowing that he was a night editor, was probably going through it.
Oh.
I think that there was probably other stuff that he could have tried as well. But, like, I think the point is to get Gawker in some sort of legal nightmare.
Right.
But this I think what this would be is that Matt Damon will be playing Hulk Hogan and Ben Affleck will be playing Peter Thiel, and this is intriguing to me. Matt Damon is Hulk Hogan.
I know I would have put it the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't maybe I'm just guessing. I might just be guessing. But Matt Damon is the one I think who can get like can be do a real physical feat for his body at this point still. I don't know if Ben is really in that place in his life where he's gonna go do Batman
Yeah, going bulk
body.
again. Right.
And Matt Damon, I mean, God, I love Matt Damon. I have such a thing for him. But
Oh, I didn't know that about you.
oh yeah, I mean, like I've always said, like that's like the one blonde guy that like I would fuck.
Oh, shit.
Blonde men do not get very far with me, but I'll tell you, I would do anything for Matt Damon. I really would. Both of these men, but Matt Damon in particular is always my biggest crush. I saw him in the Rainmaker, one of those John Grisham movies back in the day, and I was like, oh my god, I'd ruin my life for him. And then I think it was probably 14 or something. And then Good Will Hunting. There was a poster for Good Will Hunting in the movie theater lobby after I left, and I was like, "Is that hot guy?" My friend was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I gotta go see that movie." And I was not like a swoony person, you know what I mean? I've never been like swoony like that, but he's my man. Yeah, the book that this is going to be based on is Conspiracy: Peter Thiel, Hulk Hogan, Gawker, and the Anatomy of Intrigue by Ryan Holiday. It's a really, really great read, and I recommend it a lot.
Oh, that sounds good. I will definitely get on that. Although I think I have to read a book about fascism soon that I'm not looking forward to, but I think will be good for me.
Why?
Just because I think it would be a good idea to read.
Okay.
Someone on TikTok recommended it. It was written in the 40s, I think. So I saved it and I was like, wow, that seems like a real bummer. I'm definitely going to get on that. Sometimes you got to read a bummer, you know?
I know it's an exercise
Hmm.
in I don't really know what punishment, but also like, do I have the willpower and fortitude to power forward with this thing I really don't want that might be good for me?
Yes. Like, I feel like I think it would be good for me to know a little bit more about what are the conditions for like the rise of fascism and if there's any interesting nuggets and as if it's my responsibility to stop fascism. But I don't know, I think it might be a nice sort of miserable read.
Yeah. Well, you can do it. I mean, if anyone can read, it's you.
I
That's
can
what I've
read.
always said.
Yeah, you have.
I said, if you really want to talk to a reader, you got to go to Tiffany. But you are a big reader.
I am. I do love a book. They are good for you.
I know, but I've been so annoyed with myself for like nearly starting. Do you know what it is? It's a procrastination thing where it's like so many things in life where it's like, Molly, it's really not a big deal if you start the book and you decide to put it down. It's
Mhm.
not a big deal. Like, it's that thing that I often have with like starting a new piece of writing or a new piece of work or trying something that's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but that I know ultimately if I push through, I'll be competent at.
Mhm.
It's that thing where it's like almost created well, you just don't have the time to start a new book. And in the time that I've spent reasoning with I could have gotten at least 3 pages in
Right.
and decided, is this a good hook? You know, do I
Right.
want to be here? Here's a question. When do you give up on a book?
I think I feel it in my soul that I'm the curiosity that I had that initially made me wanna read the book has evaporated, and when the curiosity's gone and it feels like a chore, then I sort of naturally know that I'm not gonna return to it. If I don't feel the urge to return to it, I'm not doing it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, listen, I've had to though. I remember there was like some summer reading. Do you know the book My Antonia by Willa Cather?
I've not read it.
That was a book that I had to do for summer reading, I think like freshman year of high school or sophomore year of high school. And I was dreading that shit. And it was like one of those things where I'd gotten like a few chapters in and I was like, I am just not vibing with this. But like I knew I had to read it.
Mhm.
And so I think I was nearly halfway through it, and then all of a sudden something clicked, and I was like, "I fucking love this book." And
Ah.
that was like a real lesson in endurance for me for like, just, you know, just keep trying. And then like I remember feeling so rewarded by that. It was like one of those things, like one of those lessons you hear your whole life about, sticking with something and then like
Mhm.
maybe you'll be rewarded. I remember feeling like this is almost too stereotypical, this lesson I'm learning.
Yeah. Although that said, I really fuck with the like with quitting energy, and I think I would really like us as a society to reframe the narrative around quitting stuff that doesn't like serve you, that doesn't bring you joy, that doesn't make you happy, that like is just impossible to get through because the narrative of like someone being a quitter, I just think is kind of a little bit grim. And there are certain personality types that really vibe with just trying stuff until they find a thing that like really resonates. And you wouldn't be able to do that if you sort of stuck with a thing forever and ever, and never gave yourself the grace to quit. And so I think we need to be like kinder to quitters and also like recognize that quitting can sometimes be a bit of a virtue. I say that as a serial quitter, by the way. But sometimes that's good. I think it's like you gotta find the balance. There's some stuff you need to grit your teeth and get through, and then there's some stuff that, like, really truly, you don't have to do that. Like, if there isn't gonna be a reward at the end of it that's gonna be satisfactory to you, it's okay to, like, abandon a thing and stop a thing and find something else that will do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the reasons why I've always struggled with doing that is because I have had very harsh judgments
Yeah.
of my own
Yeah.
with other people where I'm like, "Oh, well, they just couldn't hack it," or like assuming that something is more of like a personality trait or like a fatal flaw than it is.
Mhm.
Like, if someone, like, moved out to LA and, like, sort of moved home after, like, a couple years, I'd be like, "Jesus, like, that's fucking like, I thought that was, like, the worst thing that could happen to a person,
Mm.
was being like, "I don't know, Hollywood's not for me." I thought that was the worst thing that could happen to a person. When I was in my 20s, I'd be like, "Fuck, they couldn't hack it." And, like, now I'm like, "Oh, that's okay if someone does that." But I think that, like, when you're on your own journey and so that's part of the reason why I feel uncomfortable admitting that something's not right for me or like
Mhm.
not even just admitting it, moving forth with that knowledge and making a change. You know what I mean? I've been someone who's like, yeah, but then everyone's going to think like, and that's such a stupid way to live.
Yeah.
Like it's okay.
Yeah, it's totally okay, and, who gives a fuck what other people think?
And a lot of my peace has come from no long like, I feel like it's not the same at all, but, like, a lot of my peace has come from letting go of stuff like that, like, being like, "I just don't wanna do that." Like,
Mhm.
I just don't want to, that I feel like I don't know, like, it's weird, like, I think it's the closest, like, a middle of the road, boring straight girl like me can get to, like, coming out, where I'm like, "I don't have to do this thing anymore. Like,
Mhm.
I'm no longer doing this. Like, I'm just gonna go, like,
Mhm.
I fucking dropped this, like, I've dropped the act." You know what I mean? Like, what a relief. Like, so I don't know why I think that that's a good thought, Tiffany, about quitting and why it's also a nice counter thought, not a counter thought, but it's an additional thought on the it's okay to fail
Yes.
thing. It's like a spin-off thought, and I like that.
Yeah. The more stuff you realize you don't like, the easier it is to find the things that you do.
Mhm.
You don't have to be in a bad relationship, you can quit it, and you can find one that serves you better.
Do you sometimes feel that people go a little hard on the failing is important topic though?
That people
Because
fail too much? Yeah.
sometimes I'll listen to people go on about it. Like, it was like, I don't know, I think it was like some celebrity was talking about failure is like you must fail. Like, failing is like so like,
Oh, yeah.
stop. I'm like, it sounds like you're endorsing failure.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we've now crossed into an area where it's like, I understand it's so important that people forget themselves to failure for failure, but I'm just like, I was like, "Oh my god, are you, like, just telling people to fail? Like, is this and have we reached the other side of this and then it's now become unproductive?" I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes you do, yeah, sometimes you gotta fail.
Yeah, sometimes, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't know, but I mean, I've I failed many, many times. I think it's like being comfortable with sucking and being comfortable with losing. And like weirdly, I remember Beyonce was like, "You're never too big to fail, you're never too good to fail."
Katy Perry.
Well, quite. That sometimes you have to, and I don't know, part of that is dealing with all of those things that are really uncomfortable, like rejection, losing, like
I'm thinking about it, and you know what? You're right. I feel like I am in a luxury position here, thinking that people are overhyping failure. Because I certainly have had no problem being in spaces where I do not fucking belong.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, most of the things that have, like, happened in my life that I've, I really just got there by, like, not having a fucking clue.
Yeah.
And, like, that's great in some ways to be so relieved of the burden of common sense or, whatever, but, like, yeah, this is, yeah,
Well, I think about like Jakey, Wakey Jakey, Jake Paul,
well,
and how he was on a winning streak. You know, he'd done his like 6 fights or whatever, 6 pro fights, and then had fought Tommy Fury, and lost. And it was like the first loss in his professional boxing career. And I have to tell you, like the change that happened in him was like really quite phenomenal. I watched a video of him with the US boxing team. He went and trained with them, and he took his therapist, Moles, which I thought was incredible. So, like, when I watched his last fight, he was walking around backstage with a little pouch around his neck that he said, "Oh, this has got white sage in it." And I was like, Jake Paul's walking around with white sage? Okay. And then he went into this like really beautiful video where he goes to the where they're all training, and he just does a day of training with them. And it's not like, "Yeah, what's up? I'm fucking training. Can you punch hard, bro?" He's like actually giving them all of their flowers and talking about like how incredible it feels to be standing in the place where, a lot of great American boxers like who had gone to the Olympics, like Ali and stuff, had all trained. And then he brings his therapist and he's like, "Oh, have you ever done breath work and meditation?" And then they sit and do like a kind of almost like a therapy session, the bunch of them, when they're all sitting like crisscross applesauce in this ring. And he's teaching them how to do breath work and center yourself and meditate and stuff. And something like happened in that boy. Like I think boxing definitely saved his life. But also the journey he went on because he had lost after sort of maybe like believing too much of his own hype was one that was like real growth, like a human growth, not even like Jake Paul growth, but like a human being truly growing and
like a
like digging
secret
into it.
twin that's stuck in your bones.
Like a secret fucking twin that you
Yeah.
ingested in the womb. It
Mhm.
was it was kind of great. It made me feel like, oh shit, he's really doing something. I mean, he does have the mark of someone who's done therapy, as in he has like developed a sense of self-awareness. And then his loss was like ideal. There's a great boxer called Inoue, who's Japanese, who had never been down in his career. We watched a fight where he he had a knockdown. He got knocked down in the first round against this guy that everyone thought he was going to decimate. And after the fight, he said, I'm really grateful I got knocked down because it woke me up. Like, it truly fucking,
Mm.
like, shook me and was like, "Oh, shit, I am fallible. Okay, good to know. Now I'm gonna
Yeah.
go extra hard."